So today we are stepping into the dreamlike darkness with a band who recently wrapped their latest run of UK shows to packed out, sold out venues across the country. The Birthday Massacre have been captivating fans for over 20 years with their blend of shadowy synths, shimmering melodies and that unmistakable gothic sheen. And now they're back with their brand new album Pathways, a record that feels equal parts nostalgic, cinematic and beautifully revitalized. I'm joined today with Chibi for a little catch up. So let's dive into the world of the Birthday Massacre. So Chibi, thank you
Yes.
for joining me today. So
Thank you for having me.
no problem. As I said, you've just wrapped up another successful run of UK shows with fans already connecting strongly to the new album Pathways. Now that you've seen the audience reactions in real time, has performing those songs live changed how you think about the record?
Um, oh, absolutely. I mean, that album came out while we were on tour in the USA. And it's so fun to see people are singing along and connecting with these new songs as well, hearing that being able to hear in person that people are really enjoying the album. That's what you want, right? That's ideal. You make something, you put it out there and you go, I hope everybody is going to enjoy it. And then finding out that they are enjoying it is just very, very gratifying.
And it's not just the fans that enjoy it. I mean, it's obvious that every show how much joy and connection you have with both the support acts and the crowd, from fan signs to handmade puppets. I mean, was there ever a moment on this tour that stood out as a real highlight for you?
To be absolutely frank with you, just being able to go to a completely different country and seeing that people even know who we are will never not feel absolutely incredible to me. You know, every show on this tour was a great one, from the Halloween one in Sheffield and seeing everybody's costumes to just, yeah, just I can't think of a moment that stands out in specific, because that would imply that there are ones that don't stand out, right? And I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm always just very relieved that anybody comes to the shows. I'm a worrier like that. I'm like, are people going to come? Are people going to know the songs? Do people like us? And every night on this tour was amazing. It really was. And every crowd is different. Every crowd was amazing. We had a really good time.
It's great that you mentioned about the Halloween. Actually, I've got a question with regards to that one, but I'll come back to that in a second. So there's always been a cinematic quality to your music and visuals. Do you ever think about your live shows as storytelling experiences, or do they just evolve organically from the music?
I mean, obviously the music is going to lead the way on that one. And I mean, I can only speak for myself as I'm singing the songs, but I definitely get into those lyrics that I'm delivering and trying to like articulate them and really feel the emotions of what's being said on stage and really connect with people when I see that they're connecting with those lyrics as well during the show. um Obviously the music, the songs set the tone for that, and then it's kind of up to each of us as performers on stage to sort of translate what's going on there, with the music.
Yeah, and your music, it's always balanced light and darkness, almost like a fairy tale nightmare, so to speak. Do you ever write with
Right.
specific imagery in mind, or do those visuals form after the songs exist?
Going into writing songs, we'll have kind of ideas, like a concept for lyrics, anyways, an idea, a concept, an image, and then just kind of see where that fits in musically and with the vocal melody as that all starts to come together. And then it can also be like while we're in the middle of that and just trying to work with what we've already got down in terms of lyrics and vocal ideas that are happening, things will grow from there. We've all worked with each other for years now, right? We have a very close writing relationship and very close emotional relationships with one another. So we really kind of build it all together. We've been doing it for long enough that I think we're starting to be pretty decent at it. I hope, you know, but it would never be like, oh, I want to write a song about a haunted house. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. Hey, now. And
You know what? I've got to ask this question now. I was going to wait until a little later on because we've gone into haunted houses now. We've gone into Halloween. So one of the segments that I do on the show is called Sound Off, and I recently asked the audience, the listeners. We've seen Alice Cooper, Rob Zombie. They've turned their music into full-blown haunted houses over at Universal Studios. And if the Birthday Massacre were to design a haunted house based on your music, what would it look like and what would you absolutely want to include?
Oh man, that's so interesting. I love going to haunted houses. We've been to the Slipknot haunted house. It's somewhere I forget where it is, somewhere in the States. Never done the Rob Zombie or Alice Cooper ones. Oh, I think honestly, I like the idea of a hedge maze. A hedge maze would work, I think, pretty good for us because it would be disorienting to people walking through. And you got to have some shadowy figures. But maybe they're like super cute. Maybe they're not going to do anything scary to you, or maybe they are. I think it would be like a hedge maze. That's where I would want to start the foundation of this idea.
You'd almost like build up on the anticipation of something coming out, but not really coming out.
But you don't know if it's there to be your friend or if it's there to, like eat your face. That to me would be like, there's a cute little shadow ghost child. Maybe maybe it just wants to hold your hand. Maybe it doesn't. You know? Let's find out the hard way.
Amazing. Well, let's talk a little more about the visuals then, because you kind of touched on them a little bit more. I mean, as you say, the visuals have stayed distinct with you guys over the years. How do you keep your aesthetic feeling fresh while staying true to that signature darkness that the fans have come to love?
Oh man, that's a good question. How do we keep it feeling fresh? I mean, it's never been boring to us, because that's why we started the band and started doing the kind of visuals that we do, the kind of sounds that we do. Like this is the exactly the kind of music that we have wanted to make and that we're going to make. So I think to me, I'm never thinking like, oh, how can we do this or do this better or do this differently? It's more like, oh, no, let's do this now. Let's do this now. Let's explore this idea now. Like I don't think we've ever hit any sort of wall of like, well, what would we do now? How would we explore this idea? It just always kind of, and again, because we've worked together for so long, I think that it all just comes naturally through our collective wellspring of where we all come from, which was, the 80s and the 80s horror movies, the 80s fantasy movies, the 80s soundtracks, and the contrast in music that we grew up listening to. We don't get bored of it. I don't ever, I mean, you know what I mean? So I feel like we're always just having a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely. I want to backtrack to one of your albums, Diamonds. Now, this one was recorded before the pandemic, while Fascination came out after. How would you say your writing and recording style has changed before and after the lockdowns?
I think so, not even just writing. I just think all of us, humanity in general, there's definitely a before time and an after time. Like we had a lot of momentum going as a band before the lockdown happened, just like everybody had their momentum going. And all of a sudden it was just like, bam. And now you're just going to sit in a room for 2 years and think about your life, right? I know it was very sad. We had a whole tour planned for Diamonds. Diamonds came out, and then we weren't really able to do anything with that, obviously, with the touring. And then the album was released, and people really enjoyed it. But yeah, there was a before and an after. I remember when again, everybody had the same thing. When we were able to finally get back into the studio, finally like work with each other again, finally be able to go and have dinner with your friends again. Just such a feeling of relief. Then also apprehension of, oh, now it's our first tour post pandemic. We meet people before the show. We like to give them big hugs. Is that going to be a thing now? A lot of questioning yourself. But we were all really happy to be able to get back into doing things and getting back to touring because it's such a big part of who we are. That was a horrible time, wasn't it?
Okay, since your first UK gig and up to the latest one, what do you think has been the biggest change? How do you approach touring or gearing yourselves up to perform?
um, I feel like anytime you're done a tour, you have such a sense of relief that you can just go home and sleep because you come off every tour either sick or definitely completely exhausted. So when you're gearing up for the next one, it's really like what you remember is the way that the last one ended. Like, for example, this last UK tour that we did, when it ended, we were all completely sick, completely exhausted, and I just wanted to go home and go to bed. So now thinking about going out on tour again in a few months, I'm like, oh God, I'm just going to be sick and exhausted. So it's all, you know, But then you have some time off in between to remember, like, no, this was actually an amazing tour. It's not just about getting sick on the tour, it's about everything else. You know, I think touring as much as we have it, you find that you can rely on yourself and your band and not live in your head so much. Like, I knew that I was very sick on that tour, but I also knew that our shows were going to be good because we've rehearsed, you know, and it's not just about me, it's about everybody else. If I need to like step aside and barf, Rainbow will be there. You know what I mean? It's
Nah,
about that collective and working together with each other on the road and supporting one another, and remembering why we're there, which is to have a good time and to like enjoy the music with the people who want to hear it, right?
absolutely. And across your discography, so fans have found a lot of comfort in the emotional themes within your songs. Have there been any recent fan stories from this tour that really stuck with you or surprised you?
Absolutely. People share a lot of very deeply personal things with us, you know, um, stuff that I wouldn't really want to talk about and be like, oh, this person said this and this person said that, you know, or, they'll give us a letter, like a long letter to express things that they've been through, and ways that thankfully we've been able to help them if someone's gone through a hard time or has been questioning things, really deeply, deeply personal things. And I'm always amazed that we've been able to create stuff that's been so helpful. That makes me feel really good because I know how that feels too from bands that I love. When I've had hard times, music can be such a helpful thing. So I'm so grateful for that. And also the fact that that people are willing to share those stories with us, because that can also be a really makes you very vulnerable to open up and express to someone like, hey, this is something that I was going through. So there's just so many levels of appreciation with that. I almost even don't know what to say. Life's hard, life's hard. And I'm happy that I can be part of something that maybe makes life feel less hard sometimes for people.
I'd like to talk a little bit more about your experiences then within the different musics. So in 2015, you released a book, Boring Girls, a story about a female who joins a metal band and through her experiences of the industry becomes a killer. Now, it was based on your
Yeah.
experiences of the metal industry as a female performer. And, 10
Mm.
years later, we've got a rise in new female metal artists, Poppy, Courtney LaPlante, Baby Metal, just to name a few. Do you feel that the metal music landscape is better for women 10 years later?
Yes. I think I mean, I'm not deeply entrenched in the metal world or anything. And I just think that you definitely see more females in bands. And I think that that's always a good thing. There's always been, you know, women in bands. That's always been a thing. Um, I don't know what it's like for other people in the industry. I feel like things are better now for me personally, so I can only speculate about the experience of others. But, you tour, you see some things, you hear some things, and you think, oh my God, are we serious? You read a lot of these memoirs. I love reading musician memoirs, and you're like, how are people treating other human beings this way? And somehow it's accepted and it's a punchline. And I was, and then, yeah, like I said, you see things, you experience things, you're like, this is terrible, man. Like, obviously I never killed anybody, like in the book, the characters in the book, but there's definitely been moments where you just want to leave, but I haven't felt that way in a long time. I think things are better. I think people maybe are just a little bit more conscientious now, that their behavior, it's just like, you got to behave yourself, you know what I mean? And you got to treat people with respect. And I think that a lot of times that wasn't so much a thing, and it was really glorified to not treat people with respect. And I feel like it's better now than it was. I feel like. I don't know. What do I know?
Well, from your
All I know is what I've, seen and done.
Fair enough. And last question, if you could revisit one moment from a past UK tour and relive it exactly as it happened, which would it be and why?
That's so unfair. One specific moment of any
Okay,
of our UK tours that I could relive.
I'll extend it then. I'll give you three.
Oh my God. Three. Oh my gosh. Three specific. You know what? I can't. I couldn't even tell you because you live so moment to moment when you're on tour. I mean, there's going to be three negative moments that I wish I could handle differently. You know what I mean? Like, because I always tend to remember the negative things. Okay, I'll give you one. It was in London. This was a long time ago, and there was these kind of three young teenage boys. I was outside of the venue in my little, gothic, you know, clown suit, and these three young boys with ankle bracelets came up and surrounded me and started giving me some grief, right? And me being an idiot, I was like, "Oh, I'm from Canada. I'm happy to be here." I'm trying to like talk to them because they're children, but they weren't really children. They're kids, but they're very rough kids.
Yep.
And all I ended up doing was kind of like going, ah, and eventually some security guard came over and like got rid of them. It was bad. In retrospect, I should have just smacked them all around a bit, but I was too scared. There you go. Does that qualify? I'll remember that one because it's like, really? There's like three kids acting like they're going to beat me up. That's not cool. I should have just started just wailing on them, but I was too scared. But that's some. I guess you can't really smack kids around, but I wanted to.
I mean, no one's going to see.
You can't. You can't smack kids around. I wanted to though.
Okay. And for those who have never heard of you, where can they find you? Where can they listen?
I mean, we're on Spotify, we're on Bandcamp, we're on the internet. We're on all the good stuff on the internet. We're on the YouTube. We have a Patreon, and the internet. That's such a broad brush answer, isn't it? But yeah, we have all the usual channels. We're there. All you have to do is go to the little search bar and like type in our name, and then there'll be some results and you can click on them.
Well, Chibi, thank you so much for making time to come along and chat to us after an incredible tour. Their latest album, Pathways, is out now, and it is a beautiful continuation of everything that fans love about the Birthday Massacre. It's cinematic, it's emotional, and it is darkly captivating. Check them out on their socials for their upcoming performances and releases. Be sure to give these guys your full attention, whatever you do. And as always, if you ain't headbanging yet, what the hell are you even doing? Chibi, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.